And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If it's your first time here with us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You will also see the two books by my next guest. I'm excited to welcome back award-winning author Tina Siemens to our broadcast today. Tina is someone who I've been able to call a friend over the past years. She's also someone who's doing some amazing things already this year. Her books have been recognized, not only, of course, for the history they share, but also the inspiration as well. We're going to talk to Tina about her journey, what it's been like for her to share her book, Seminal. Some People Never Give Up. You guys see it there. But also, she shares her personal story in this book, The Little Sandals That Could. If you follow Tina, you know she also has a museum that she started. She has a lot of speaking engagements going on this year, too. She's quite busy, but she's taking out some time to be able to share with us today. I also want to recognize those tuning in that are simulcasting with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. If you guys have any questions or comments for Tina, make sure you guys put those in the comment section. But Tina, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you, Cyrus. It's always a joy to know that I have on my schedule that says interview with Cyrus Webb. And that just made my day today. So thank you for having me.
Oh, look, it is always a pleasure. Dr. Clara, hello to you. She's joining us on Facebook. She says hello as well. Tina,
Oh.
you have so much going on. And I want to publicly say how proud I am of you because I remember when we were first connected and, how you were, we're moving on social media, but your confidence has grown. So you released a second book in that time as well. Seminole, Some People Never Give Up is how a lot of people have been able to know you. But what has it been like for you, Tina, to open up and see how people are responding to your story?
It has been an amazing journey. I have learned so much since I've been connected with you and just building my confidence of getting my story out locally in a private setting. I have always enjoyed that, but you have built that confidence that I can be online. Still learning, but I've just come such a long way, and it's so meaningful for me to share my family's history as well as it being Women's History Month. That just I just feel so fortunate to be able to be a woman that not only talks about history but is making history.
Yes, you are. Tawanda, hello to you. Tawanda says hello to you as well on Facebook.
Hi.
Tina, so Tina, let me ask you, when you first wrote your book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up, did you know that it was something that would connect with people around the world?
Absolutely not, because it started out with just being a individual for my family, our two sons and our four grandchildren. That was my aim, to have an account written with our history. And then if brothers and sisters wanted, but that was optional. My
Mhm.
main goal was our two sons and our grandchildren, that they would know our history. And then it just blossomed when I was done with the manuscript, and it looked like a book, and so I was encouraged to have it published, and it's just been such an amazing journey.
Yeah. Well, for those who are new to it, the great thing is what Tina's able to do in this book is to take us back. I mean, to not only, of course, her family's history, but also what they've been able to do. I mean, we're talking about decades she's been able to cover in this book, and I think we're kind of looking at it. There are hundreds of years that you're able to kind of chronicle as well in here, Tina, as well. So that brings up the question about history. As you mentioned, it is Women's History Month. We're recognizing people like yourself that are definitely trailblazers. When did your love of history, Tina, when did that begin for you?
At a very young age, I asked questions to my grandma and grandpa, which was very uncommon in my culture. Children were to be seen and not heard, and
Mhm.
so for me to ask them, I would often get, "Oh, just go outside and play." That's Don't worry about things like that. But I remember, probably my earliest memory is about 5 years old, when I was questioning my grandma. And so I know that love for history has always been there. And my father loved history, and so he kind of encouraged that along, because then grandma didn't want to talk, my dad did. So I went to the next source, and over the years, my grandma passed, but my grandpa was able. me and him started to be closer and closer. He lived in Canada and me here in Texas. But every time I went to Canada, I would go and visit him and we would record our conversations. And I gleaned so much from firsthand uh, history being told from my grandpa. And then I would come and verify that with my dad. This is what grandpa said. Do you remember it this way? So I kind of made a dialogue of our family's history. And then in 2016 is when I took my first Mennonite history tour in Europe, which was what is present day Poland. So I connected my roots to Poland, and that just opened up a brand new world. And since I've traveled to all over Europe and Ukraine, present day Ukraine, and just to gather and glean from my history. So it's been a lot of fun to learn history.
Yeah. You said something that I can resonate with. Tina. I grew up in a family where my family doesn't like to talk a whole lot about the
Yeah.
past. They don't like to talk about history. My grandmother, it was like pulling teeth with her before she died to
Yeah.
finally do an interview with me. And I'm so glad we were able to do that before she
Yeah.
died, to kind of talk about, because I think a lot of times, and I'm curious if you found this too, Tina, a lot of times they don't realize the significance of what they
Exactly.
lived through. They may look at it as being humble beginnings, but not realize that, how they were able to persevere. And in reading your book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up, I mean, just some of the situations were life and death situations that your
Absolutely.
family went through. So I guess my question to you is, did it seem like your family understood the importance of their history when they were sharing it with you?
Not really, and I think some of the reserve why our grandparents really don't want to talk about it. It is because it brings back so many painful memories for them.
Yeah.
Because that generation, it was right after World War II and immigration and migrating to new areas. So it was associated with a lot of hardships, and bringing those hardships or talking about it without realizing that it was healing for them and it was helping me build the memoir. So it was truly healing, I think, for them. After they realized it helps to talk about it, but
Right.
then I now have it as a recorded history
Yeah.
for the future generations. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think one of the reasons why they are reserved is because it brings up hardships in their
Right.
memories.
Yeah. But I think it's so interesting to hear you say that. And I agree with you, Tina. I agree with you. Hello to you, ESP Present. She's joining us on YouTube. She says hello
Oh
as
yes,
well to you. Um, I agree with you on that too. But do you think that also is where there's a disconnect, Tina? Because I think because today, now in 2024, so many people don't understand the importance of that history, right? Because for one,
absolutely.
they weren't taught it.
Mm-mm.
And two, that appreciation for it hasn't been built into them because of that. Have you found that is something that you've seen?
Absolutely, because when it's not talked about, what can you? I don't talk about a subject that I don't have knowledge about.
Yeah.
So the generations from if I didn't have this for my children and grandchildren, there would be two generations that they would now be four generations from the original story. So then there's so much lost. And if we don't know history, then history always repeats itself.
Yeah.
And so if we recognize what history was, then we can be prepared and we can have like a shield up for what's coming and be able to maneuver through it a lot easier than what past generations did.
Yeah, such a great point. Ellen says, I don't like it when folks try to erase history, no matter how painful. And that's true. And that's why talking about it is so important. And that's why I'm so glad you've been able to share your story. And so many others are doing the same thing. Tina, I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. But we are simulcasting this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. We have award-winning author Tina Siemens rejoining us today. She's the author of the book you guys see here, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up. But she also has a second book that she wrote. I'm going to highlight it for you guys on Amazon, and that is The Little Sandals That Could. So I have to ask you what may be a selfish question, Tina. What was it like for you to start this year off as an award-winning author? Because I saw the certificate you got. What was it like for you to start the year off that way?
It just kind of verifies, and it was really a proud moment for myself to see I love doing this, but then for other people to recognize it, that just verified that the story is out. The people are getting to know me through the books, and for them to say, yes, I recognize Tina Siemens as an author. That just, it was a very proud moment. But I don't like to relish in that because I'm not somebody that oh, here I am, look what I've done. But praise be to God, because it's because of the many blessings that I've been able to encounter throughout my life. That's the reason why these books are here. So I'm just obedient to the gift that I was given, and putting it on paper. So now the world can learn and see through me, because my subtitle, Some People Never Give Up, that is my life motto, is no matter how hard things get, try again, because it may be just the next try that you will succeed. So yes, it's wonderful to be recognized, but then I like to just turn it around, because it's a team effort. These books are not my Tina Siemens, but it's a whole group of people and generations that make that story.
Yeah. Tina, you came to the United States in 1977, and one of the things we're able to see in the book, The Little Sandals That Could, is that your journey was not easy either. I mean, we talk about your parents and the generations before you. You didn't have it easy as well. You talked about, being picked on. You talked about being looked down on because of not having what some of the other kids have. But what has it been like for you to look at the woman you are today?
Last night, I had the opportunity to present to a group of senior citizens that meet every month, and I was telling them from the little shy girl that I was in 1977, freckled face Tina, not knowing a word in English, and today being able to do Zoom calls that has 50 to 75 people listening into my story, and presenting our Mennonite history to a group of 30 people, like I'll do this afternoon. There's such growth that I have seen and witnessed in my life, that I will forever be grateful for the opportunity. And the amount of blessings that have come from myself is more than I think for others, because I'm reaping from my own history, and it will always continue to encourage me, and hopefully in turn I will be able to encourage others.
You definitely are. Ellen says, thank you, Tina. And that's the great thing. You're encouraging people who've never even met you. We're recognizing you this month as one of the 25 women changing the world. And that is not by accident, Tina. You are definitely doing that because I have seen, even in the time that we've known each other, the impact you're making locally, but also globally, thanks to the platform that's around you. So I want to talk about how you've been able to build on history. Okay. Because as you have released your book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up, and then The Little Sandals That Could, you did something else that's very big, and that is you started a museum. Talk to us about that and what that's been like for you to bring history to life that way.
Well, I chose the title for the museum, West Texas Living Heritage Museum. And the word living is in gold in my title. And for me to do hands-on learning, whether it is canning or bread making or just doing what our ancestors did. I've got 4 or 5 different methods of doing laundry in my laundry room setup in the museum. So I'll have demonstrations on how our great-grandparents, great-grandmothers had to do laundry with a washboard. And so just seeing the living part of the museum come to pass, it just connects the current generation, and then the older ones that come, they will say, oh, I remember. And that's the beauty of having the museum, is they will stand there and say, this even smells like my grandparents' home. And so it just evokes the different memories that each one has, and then being able to teach the younger generation by being a living museum. It's just so rewarding. I'm so grateful that I was able to do that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that in the little sandals that could, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second, Tina. You're able to share with us photos of yourself with your grandkids. They're sewing. I
Yeah.
mean, what is it like for you to look back at these memories that are not that far off, but to have them kind of included in this book, but great for yourself and your grandchildren to look back on.
My grandchildren, you should read some of the notes that I get from my grandchildren. They are just absolutely, and this is a grandma gloating
Yeah,
with pride of her grandchildren.
yeah.
But one of my grandson wrote a note and gave it to me and said, if God would choose a grandma for him, he would choose exactly me, because
Oh,
he figured that I had never done anything wrong. So they have Oma. They call me Oma, German for grandma. Uh, they have me on as a role model. And
mm,
what better uh, opportunities do we have than to teach the next generation? So it's phenomenal to be able to have the history and know the history and then teach it to my grandchildren. And I love doing it by doing physical things, by sewing and canning and cooking and baking. So it's awesome.
love that. Tina, I think one of the things that has definitely helped me in my life is remembering where I come from.
Mm,
And I think that appreciation is what, for one, keeps me humble, but I
yes.
think two, makes me appreciate everything. You've achieved so much in your life, personally and
Mhm.
professionally. Do you
Yeah.
think it is because of remembering where you come from that keeps you so grounded today?
Absolutely. If you know your roots, then you feel like a sense of belonging.
Hmm.
And that is what every human being, as instinct, as a human being, we want to belong. We want to be loved. And then in turn, if we have that foundation, then in turn we can reach out, because no plant that doesn't have roots can grow and branch out. So if we are rooted, then we have the opportunity to grow new branches and to do new things. So the museum is just a new branch. Each book is a new branch that will reach different people at different stages in their life. So, but it requires being rooted.
Yeah.
And even if you've got rooted and you're dead, the root plant, the plant in itself is dead. One wind and it'll be uprooted. So
Yeah.
we need to stay alive so that we can grow new branches.
Yeah, such a great point. Yeah. Let's see. Ellen says, "How dangerous it is to keep history silent. Does it help us or hurt us?" I think that's such a good thing. So let me ask you: have you found that by talking to people, Tina, that you've shown them the benefit of knowing history?
Absolutely. Like so many of different cultures that we're such a melting pot here in America. So everyone has a different culture aspect, and whether your culture is different than those around you, but then others are interested. What's your accent? Where did you come from? Why are you
Mhm.
doing these things? And that gives you the opportunity to, if you know your history, that you can share with them, and then all of a sudden it binds us much closer together, because we are much more similar than different, even though we're completely different cultures. But the root of it, um, our ancestors, they all really lived the same way. They lived off the land. They had their own homesteading. It was not the modern world that we live in today. So they were all much more similar. So if we know those roots, then that automatically connects us, no matter what culture we are, and that just helps us to build more bridges.
Yeah. I want to read something. I haven't shared it with you before, Tina, but I want to show our audience this picture here and read this from the little sentence that could and have us talk about it for our audience, because I think it's one of the most powerful parts of the book for me. You wrote this: "Mom and Dad, what are you thinking about?" Tina asked. Dad turned to Tina. "I just realized that we're no longer strangers in this land. This is our country now." "That's good, isn't it?" Tina asked. "Yes," her father replied. "It's just that we have been forced to move from country to country for hundreds of years. I do hope this is our last move." "We are free here," Tina said. "We can worship freely, we can buy property, we can get educated, This is the best place. Yes, it is, her parents said. Mom and Dad, thanks for bringing us up out of Mexico. It was hard living there, but you have made our lives better. And then you wrote this, Tina. I know that, her mother said. I just hope you tell your children and grandchildren this story. Make sure they love this country as we do. Raise them to be good citizens, not only of this country, but also show them the pathway to our heavenly citizenship. I want to talk about that because you have made it your mission to pass on. What do you want our audience to know about the importance of passing on their own story and their own history?
Well, just even me hearing you read that makes me tear up, but it's tears of joy because this month it will be 47 years from that moment. Mm-hmm. And for me to know that I was given an opportunity to start off in a brand new place as an immigrant and to learn and assimilate into the culture here, and for me to be able to give that on to whoever is willing to listen. I can talk about this hours and hours at a time, and that is my privilege and joy to do so. And I've always said, wherever I do a speaking engagement, I'll say, for as long as God gives me breath, that is what I'm going to be talking about, is where I come from. And it's so biblical because God told the children of Israel, when you walk by the wayside or when you lie down or sit down, talk to your children of where I brought you out. Yeah. So we are commanded to do exactly this, to teach the next generation of where we're coming out. So keeping history silent, we're doing the next generation a dishonor. Yeah. Because it's so important that they know where we come from, and that then will connect them to the past and to hopefully you don't have to love history like I do, but just knowing that where you come from will give you such a feeling of belonging, like I said before.
Right. Well, Tina, I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to be able to call you a friend and to be able to share your story here on Amazon and other platforms. And I hope our audience will appreciate it as well. Again, everyone, award-winning author Tina Siemens has been our guest today. You can get both of her books, Seminal, Some People Never Give Up, as well as The Little Sandals That Could, both here on Amazon. We have them available both in the paperback as well as the Kindle edition. I see some of you guys have already clicked through to be able to get them for yourself on the Amazon side. If you guys are not joining us on Amazon, if you'd like to get Tina's books, there is a link that's joining us on all the other platforms that'll bring you over to Amazon so you can be able to get them for yourself. Tina, appreciate you. We know you have a very busy next few months coming up with events there at the museum, with your speaking engagements. How can our audience stay connected with you?
They can email me at seminalthebook@gmail.com. And then, of course, they can reach me on all the social media platforms. And one last plug, this is ebook a week. Mm-hmm. And so both these books are available as ebooks. So thank you again for having me.
Look, it is always a pleasure. We can just, sitting down with you, which is like sitting down with an old friend and just having a conversation. Yeah. We're just sharing it with the rest of the world. So Tina, again, so proud of you. So excited for all the great things happening for you and looking forward to our next chat together.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot for having me.
Glad to
thanks
do it.
Everyone who joined us.
Yeah. And we thank you, our audience, again for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys came in late, don't worry. The replay will be available. You guys will be able to catch the entire conversation with Tina. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you for watching Cyrus Webb Presents. You all make it a great one. Take care.
Thank you.